Hi, this is William Stewart, co-founder of Teleos. Welcome back to our verse-by-verse study on the book of Revelation. I'm glad you're here. It's been an exciting journey so far. We're almost halfway done. What have we covered? Well, in chapter 1, we looked at the post-resurrection vision of Christ. We're not seeing the suffering Messiah, as in Hebrews 2, verses 8 and 9, where this is mentioned, but we see the victorious Messiah who will come again in this revelation and save us. He then covers in 2 chapters, I think, our final words, almost like an abstract or a summary to the church and how we are to live. Chapter 4 then begins the tribulation itself. We have the scene of heaven in chapter 4. We discover that Jesus Christ is worthy to judge as the perfect man, perfect God, the hypostatic union, all God, all man. Chapter 6 begins the tribulation itself, that 7-year period between the rapture of the church being taken out of the way as described at the end of 1 Corinthians 15 and the second half of 1 Thessalonians 4, into heaven as not to know God's wrath. But in this terrible 7-year period, the earth will feel the wrath of God for the sin that they've done through the ages, at the end of which Christ comes back. So we begin chapter 10 today. This chapter is a little hard to understand as a warning, and it's been described variously. I look at it as perhaps a midpoint of the tribulation, a pause, almost like a halftime in a basketball game or an American football game. And we're in this pause at the end, John is told to prophesy again. So let's go to Scripture. We'll cover the first half of the chapter today. That's 6 verses. Verse 1, and I saw, again, this is John reporting the vision of Christ, another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow upon his head and his face, and there were the sun and his feet and the pillars of fire. So seems to be a new angel, a different angel, and he seems to be surrounded in glory. Verse 2, and he had in his hand a little book open. So this is the only time the little book is described in Revelation. It differs from the book of the 7 seals in chapter 5. And he set his right foot upon the sea, his left foot upon the earth. Again, he seems to have power over everything, or everything he's about to say has to do with everything on earth. Verse 3, and he cried with a loud voice, like a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. So 7 thunders are also unique to this chapter. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard from the heaven saying to me, seal up those sayings the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. So whatever these things were, perhaps they were so terrible they were not to be known in written literature to us, or perhaps they are revealed later, we're not sure, but they are probably of utmost significance. Verse 5, and the angel I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to the heaven. And verse 6, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever. Of course, this is God. Swearing is not something we're told to do in the apostolic letters in the church times, but in the Old Testament times, it was done to indicate the truth of a statement or the fidelity to a promise. So the fact that he swears here now indicates it is true or it will happen. So for him who liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are and therein, and on the earth and the things therein, and the sea and the things therein, that there should be time no longer. So the word here for time is chronos, the exact time. This verse seems to be quite important to this chapter. It is variously defined and interpreted. it seems to be indicating that in the course of the tribulation, that it will continue. And there will be no delay in terms of bringing judgment and bringing to the end of the time and the commencement of the kingdom of Christ. And ultimately, after 10,000 years, the new heavens and the new earth. So I think it's, in summary, saying to us, God's going to push this on to bring it to conclusion, and nothing's going to delay it. So what have we learned here in chapter 10 so far? That there seems to be a pause in the tribulation. We don't know how long it lasts, but there is a recommitment or announcement that the tribulation is going to continue and not be delayed. This is a momentous announcement with new figures and unique figures indicating in the narrative of this revelation, indicating their importance. Okay, thank you for joining me today. We'll finish chapter 10 next time and then move on to what are some amazing chapters after this describing the Great Tribulation. Glorious to behold God's power and his right that he has to judge as the perfect, righteous God. However, also terrible to imagine of what these people went through in payment for sin. I'll look forward to seeing you next video. Goodbye for now.